Covering all parts New York. Dane Green gets Le'Veon. Giants fans need a big old hug. And Michelle Steele is with the belle of the offseason ball. We've got reaction from Cleveland on the huge news yesterday, David.
Yes, El, yesterday a watershed moment for the future of two franchises. The Giants trade Odell Beckham Jr. to the Browns for a first, a third, and Jabril Peppers, though now they're combining the move with the Olivier Vernon deal. Giants get pick 133 back. Browns revert to pick 155. The Giants make the move after signing Beckham to a 5-year extension 7 months ago, which included a $20 million signing bonus. And less than 2 weeks after GM Dave Gettleman, you heard him, said we didn't sign him to trade him. They're doing back handsprings in Northeast Ohio. Cleveland suddenly bona fide. Vegas has taken note. Prior to the deal, Westgate Las Vegas Superbook had Cleveland at 12-1 to win its conference, 25-1 to win the Pro Football Championship. Those numbers now down to 7-1 and 14-1. So a big shift in the sports books. We bring in our NFL insider now, Adam Schefter. I really haven't seen any experts say this is a smart move for the Giants, a good move for the Giants. What are you hearing about the backstory, why they felt like they should move Odell Beckham Jr. at this time?
If we go back to last year at this time, they basically were looking to trade Odell Beckham Jr. for 2 first-round picks. No team met their price at the time, and they decided to pull him back. We went through the year where he questioned the offense, questioned Eli Manning, and wondered aloud whether he wanted to stay in New York and play in New York. The Giants saw that, another injury, wondered if their offense would function better without him, and made the decision this offseason to listen to offers. I don't think they were shopping him, David, but they absolutely were listening when teams called them. They didn't turn away calls. They invited that conversation when it came, and ultimately the Browns finally stepped in and made an offer that the Giants felt was fair. Now, other teams that I've spoken to say, I think they could have gotten more. Maybe they could have. But they felt like this was a good take for Jabril Peppers, a first-round pick, a third-round pick for Odell Beckham Jr. Again, the Giants also take a $16 million dead cap hit against their salary cap, which is another issue for the trade. But this is a team right now that looks like it's starting to move in a direction where it has to get a quarterback and begin building for the future.
Yes, they are totally in rebuilding mode now at this point. The other New York team, not quiet as well. The Jets and Le'Veon Bell agreeing to a deal which pays him $35 million guaranteed. And, of course, we've been talking about Le'Veon Bell for a long time. Had to sit out a year, gave up $14 million last year. How do you see it? Did he win this thing, the back and forth in negotiation?
Well, look, on one day, on one night, we got one star leaving New York and one star arriving in New York. Odell Beckham Jr. leaves, Le'Veon Bell arrives. And this is a case where everybody's going to compare the numbers. Look, this was his decision. This was his life. And he had to understand the risk of passing up $14.5 million last year. That was his decision, what he decided to do. Ultimately, he gets a 4-year, $52.5 million deal with $35 guaranteed. We all should be so fortunate to make that.
It worked out
in 4 years, right? So it's not horrible, but there is lost wages for last year. No wear and tear on his body. One less year of football. Got to produce a rap album that was released on the internet last night.
There you go.
So he got some things done. Again, it's all a question of what's important to you. The $14.5 million wasn't important enough to him last year.
What's his hip-hop name? Juice? Is that what?
I am not that cool to even
I thought you would know that,
guess,
Adam
David.
Schefter. You're supposed to know everything. All right, Adam is sticking around all day to give us the breaking news and what's going on. Let's get it back to Elle.
D. Lloyd, I can actually answer that. It is just Le'Veon Bell on Spotify if you're looking for that rap album.
Do we have a title of this rap album yet?
We do, actually. It's something I can pull it up while you're talking. I'll not be paying attention to you, Booger McFarland from Monday Night Football, and I'll be looking for that. Let's talk about the Le'Veon Bell situation, and people are going to quibble for him.
One, it was the money, because he was at a situation for him that he turned down $14.5 million on the franchise tag. And so he and his agent were trying to figure out, how can we recoup this money? How can we become the highest paid running back in the National Football League? And what they found out, pickings were pretty slim in the free agent market. So I think at the 11th hour, at the very end, where they tried to save face, the Jets were always willing to come in at the number that they did. And I think they get an offensive weapon, a guy that can help Sam Darnold. He's not only a running back, they can split him out at wide receiver, too. So they get one of the ultimate playmakers in the National Football League in Le'Veon Bell. And he's fresh because he took a year off making a rap album.
The rap album, by the way, is called Life's a Gamble. So isn't that fitting?
He gambled and he might have lost.
He was going to say, sometimes you win some, sometimes you lose some. It stands to reason that everybody wins in Cleveland when Odell Beckham Jr. is on that team. But we're pulling some receipts, Booger, because yesterday on this very show, Carrie asked you a question. Now, this is after the Browns picked up Olivier Vernon and Sheldon Richardson. She asked you if they were the new AFC North favorites, and here's your answer.
Baker Mayfield. A lot of times from year 1 to year 2, you make your biggest jump, but also people get a lot of film on you. So I like what Cleveland is doing. I think they have a lot to build off of, but I think we need to pump the brakes a little bit. Ben Roethlisberger and the Steelers are still there, and until somebody tells me they're gone, I'm still going to favor them in that division.
Okay, so now they have OBJ. Would you like to go ahead and anoint Cleveland as your AFC North champs?
No, it's mid-March. Listen, I understand everybody is all up in arms. Man, the Cleveland Browns going to the Super Bowl. Forget LeBron, we got OBJ. It's mid-March, okay? Football teams are more than talent. We saw the Philadelphia Eagles a couple years ago. Vince Young dubbed them a dream team. We saw what happened. Football is about chemistry, it's about personalities, it's about leadership, and more importantly, can you stay injury-free? They have yet to even go to OTAs. Let this team gel, let them come together, let this team figure out what their identity is going to be. Now, for where they are in mid-March, I like where they are. They have a young quarterback in Baker Mayfield. They have OBJ and Jarvis Landry. More importantly, they have a position coach in Adam Henry, the wide receiver coach for the Cleveland Browns, that has history with them. So I'm not concerned about anything but football with this crew. But let them gel, let them come together, let the leadership form on this team. But I do like where they are right now.
A lot of teams have won the Super Bowl on paper. Unfortunately, you have to play.
It doesn't count.
It does not count. Booger McFarland joining us with the latest on what's been a crazy couple of days in the NFL.
Life's a gamble, baby. Don't lose.
So the Browns are absolutely going for it. Beckham not their only early upgrade. So early in the offseason, they signed former Chiefs running back Kareem Hunt. He's still on the commissioner's exempt list. If he returns to the field, Hunt and Nick Chubb going to provide a pretty great 1-2 punch in the league, I'd say. Then they got busy last week trading for Olivier Vernon. Vernon has recorded at least 6.5 sacks in each of his last 6 seasons. And finally, Cleveland completing a fearsome front four by agreeing to a deal with Sheldon Richardson, meaning he'll come over from the Vikings and join Vernon, Myles Garrett, and Larry Ogunjobi to wreak havoc on opposing offenses.
All right, let's turn to Michelle Steele, who's live there in Cleveland at the Browns facility. So, Michelle, this team has lost losing seasons 11 straight years. Now they're favored to win the AFC North. Give us the excitement level, the buzz there in that building surrounding the OBJ trade.
Yeah, David, the excitement level here in Cleveland is off the charts. And if you're going to talk about gradients of excitement, as it were, in the land, I think LeBron James is the guy, right, who sets the bar. And there were a few fans, actually, that told me this morning that the feelings that they had when they heard that Odell Beckham Jr. was coming to the Cleveland Browns was comparable to the feelings that they had when LeBron James returned to Cleveland after Miami. These fans are here in Cleveland, David, cannot wait for the season to start, and understandably so. This is a team whose odds to win the Super Bowl were literally halved overnight. 5th best odds in the NFL to win the Super Bowl. Now, from a team perspective, here's what I can tell you from just being around the facility. I think that the team feels it's too early, let's call it, to start celebrating, to start popping bottles, but they feel good about the talent that they've acquired, including Odell Beckham Jr. And the current talent on this roster feels good as well. Just take a look at Baker Mayfield's Instagram. He posted a picture of himself alongside Jarvis Landry as well as Odell Beckham Jr. at USC when they were working out not too long ago. Think about where this team was just a year ago at this time. A picture like that would have been total fantasy for a Browns fan. That is their new reality, and one that they hope they do not wake up from anytime soon. David?
All right, so maybe not LBJ levels of excitement, but OBJ levels of excitement for the Browns. They are fired up. Michelle Steele with them in Northeast Ohio.
Yes.
Lloyd, we are not done talking about this trade yet. What is Odell Beckham Jr. thinking about the move to Cleveland? Well, we'll find out. He talked with our Josina Anderson about how it all went down. Plus, why comparing the top quarterback prospect to a Super Bowl just works. You're looking live from Norman, Oklahoma. It's the Sooners Pro Day. Kyler Murray will be throwing and will be live, breaking it all down. Stick with us here on SportsCenter. Wall-to-wall coverage on all the biggest stories that are happening today.